Welcome back to another Blue Jackets game reaction. Game 20, the Blue Jackets win 7-3 over the Chicago Blackhawks, avoiding what would be a franchise record 10th straight loss. So the crying Jordan off of the thumbnails for now. Don't make me put them back on, Blue Jackets, please. But for now, the crying Jordan is off of the thumbnails. This did feel kind of like a now or never type of game, considering the upcoming schedule that I'll get into near the end of the video here. But the Jackets also in the media spotlight in a very, very bad way, as seems to be par for the course. It seems like if the Jackets are making headlines and they're being talked about in 32 Thoughts and there's trade rumors, everything's flying about, it never seems to be for any good reason. They're in the spotlight for the losing they've been doing as of late. You know, how does Yarmo and JD still have their jobs with this roster that's not getting anything done, and the underperforming stars, and the Babcock debacle from the offseason, and, you know, Laine and Gaudreau struggles certainly don't help the media's trigger finger to stir up trade rumors, seemingly involving pretty much any player with star power that puts on a jersey for Columbus. And now that they're struggling, especially with Patrik Laine getting healthy scratched and making his opinions about how that happened known, that definitely doesn't help things out as far as quieting trade rumors involving Patrik Laine. But for this game in general, nice to have a game where you can feel good about both the result and the effort. There have been games where, you know, Jackets fans are saying, well, they're pretty close, but when you lose 9 straight, it starts to become about just getting a win. And even if you tried hard, well, you're still not doing enough to turn the ship around. And it wasn't a perfect night for Columbus, even though they did put up 7 goals. Still an uncomfortable amount of turnovers in the defensive zone. Elvis Merzlikins mostly pretty sharp for this one. It did lead to a couple of Blackhawks goals. You had the Connor Bedard goal, where also Goodbranson and Provorov is playing way too soft on him. He has way too dangerous of a shot for him to be getting that close to the net uncontested like that. And then you had the other goal where the guy was able to just pretty much walk in on Elvis, not just get one shot off, but 2 shots uncontested on his own rebound. And I'm certainly not saying that the season has been salvaged with this 7-3 win. That's still just 5 wins for this Jackets team in 20 games. However, they more than made up for their mistakes in this one by capitalizing on their chances, which is something that they haven't been doing a whole lot of during this stretch of haplessness, although it was certainly helped by the fact that Peter Mrazek was having a pretty bad night in goal for the Blackhawks. He was yanked after the 5th Blue Jackets goal for Arvid Soderblom, who then allowed 2 more goals for the remainder of the second period. All 7 goals for the Jackets scored in the first 2 periods as well. And we did finally see some production from multiple struggling stars all at once, with Werenski setting a franchise record for assists in a game by a defenseman for the Blue Jackets with 4 in this one. Laine was moved back to the wing after his healthy scratch. He was put on a line with Fantilli, and Fantilli found Laine for a goal. So Laine serves up Fantilli some meals in an air fryer, and Fantilli serves up Laine a goal on a silver platter on a really nice backhand pass. Laine putting it in backhand as well. You know, it's crazy what happens when you put a player like Laine at his actual position as a winger. I think is Patrik Laine center question has been answered multiple times over. He's not really a center you want to be playing at that position. He can take a face-off here and there. He's got more experience at that. But I feel like we found out that Patrik Laine should just be playing on the wing. And you also put them with players who can set up each other's success, like Laine and Fantilli have shown that they can do now. They did show some really good chemistry throughout training camp in the preseason, but with Laine's struggles or him being injured and just the line blender in general, we haven't really seen Laine and Fantilli be able to create a whole lot of chemistry in the regular season. Hopefully this game shows that. I think it's worth putting them 2 together and kind of writing out any sort of struggles they may see. But it looked pretty good against Chicago tonight, and maybe that healthy scratch, as much as Laine didn't like it, and he said it was the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to him as a player. Maybe it did something to him, whether it maybe he got some focus on what he needs to do better, or if he's just playing angry despite this coaching staff for benching him in the first place, making sure that never happens again. Whatever it is, Laine definitely looked to be on a different level in this game than he had been in games past. Cole Sillinger, he got his first goal of the season off of a deflection. Hopefully that gets something going with Sillinger this year. It's not that Cole Sillinger has looked glaringly bad. I don't even think he looked all that glaringly bad last season. It's just been so aggressively meh for Cole Sillinger for the better part of the last 2 years now, where he did have that rookie year where he scored a bit more than expected. It wasn't even supposed to be on the NHL roster, but he stuck there for the whole year. And then really ever since then, it's just been kind of what you would have expected from Cole Sillinger. Definitely should have been sent down to Cleveland much earlier than he was last season. It just hasn't gone all that well for Cole Sillinger of recent times or of recent years. But hopefully with that first deflection goal, it gets something off of his chest. Anything that points to a confidence boost for Sillinger, I'll take that as a positive for him and hope he can build off that in the near future. And I would also be foolish not to mention Boone Jenner scoring 2 goals in the first period. He was recognized during this game, as this was his first home game he's played since becoming the Blue Jackets leader in games played with the club. So good for the nationwide arena crowd to be able to give him a standing ovation during a timeout there and get him the love and recognition he deserves from the fifth line for sticking with this team throughout his entire career and becoming the captain. And really, despite the slump that the Jackets as a team in general are, Boone Jenner's he's been pretty darn good for the Jackets this season. And I know that we hear talk about, he shouldn't be the top line center, and on a real contender, he's probably more like a third line wing, heart and soul guy. But for the Blue Jackets, he's played very well as a top 6 center for Columbus. And one of those first period goals for Boone Jenner came on the power play. So the power play finally getting off the goalless schneid. It was 0 for forever, hadn't scored in however many games. I think it was 8. Is what Jeff Rimmer said on the broadcast. Some ridiculous number. They finally get a power play goal from Boone Jenner. Pretty much in the exact way you'd expect Boone Jenner to score a power play goal. Net front, very close proximity to the goaltender. Peter Mrazek was not sticking close enough to his posts, as the first goal that Jenner scored was also pretty much just sneaking a puck past Mrazek between the posts there. Boone Jenner having a great game. But we did have some lineup news before the contest started for the Blue Jackets. Damon Severson will be out for about 6 weeks with an oblique injury. Seemed like Adam Boqvist is drawing in for his spot there. Trey Fix-Wolansky was sent down to Cleveland with Eric Robinson being brought back up. Texie out for this game with illness on Chicago's side. They're playing without Taylor Hall and Corey Perry. I believe they went 11 forwards and 7 defensemen as well for this contest. Blackhawks did. Despite those absences, did not stop the Jackets from putting up 7 points. So I'm just going to enjoy this win while I can as a Blue Jackets fan, because the next 3 games are against the Devils, Hurricanes, and Bruins. I will wait to see how those games go before I can officially say that I'll reserve hope for this team crawling back to respectability after those games. Not even like getting into the hunt for a playoff race, because again, right now, I think that is a distant stretch goal that is going to require like 10 or 20 more games of solid play to even think about. But if they can just crawl back to getting a respectable record and getting somewhat close to having a roster that Jackets fans can feel confident in moving forward even after this season, if the Jackets can compete well and get a win or a couple wins in these next few games, then maybe you can talk me into getting there, as far as, hey, maybe the Jackets might be a bit of a friskier team later on down the road in the season than they've been in the first quarter. But until then, this is an oasis of one good result in otherwise what's been just a sea of crap. But again, it's going to take more than one win over a bad Chicago team for me to change my wholesale thoughts on the team that I made up my mind, that I seemed like I made up my mind about a few games ago. But, if they continue to collect some positive results, not just good efforts in games, but some actual positive results, and if that follows with some good wins over some better competition, then maybe you can turn me around. But for now, again, still, I'm not having my hopes up for this team at all. But this was a nice victory that I'll take, because it was just getting tired of the onslaught of losses, and setting a new franchise record for consecutive losses definitely would have been a somehow new low for this season. That's already felt like a continuation of low after low after low. Nice to get a good result that you can feel good about in this one. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far into it, leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it, and you would like to see more like it. You can let me know how you thought this game went down in the comments, and you can check out some of my other videos. I cover a lot of Ohio teams that I like. Maybe you'll like those videos as well. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one.